Alright, welcome guys. In this episode we're going to be talking about our 200 Series Landcruiser, giving it a bit of a walkthrough about what we've done to it and all the things that we've done to try and prepare for our lap around Australia. Now we've already done our lap. We've done about 18 months worth in this car, so this is going to be a bit of an insight as to what you actually need, what you don't need, and pretty much just how things have held up. So if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. We're the Cruising Oz. We're a family of 5 and we've been traveling around Australia for the last 18 months, and we're just going to give a bit of a rundown on this old girl. Alright, so a bit of history on the car to start with. It's a 2016 model 200 Series Landcruiser. We bought this second hand and we were lucky enough to have a lot of the mods already done to it. So we pretty much got this pre-COVID time, so if everyone who knows about COVID, pretty much made the price of everything go through the roof. So we're actually quite lucky to pick this up before all that hit. So I'll just run through all the things that has been done to the car and all the things that we've done in preparation for traveling around Australia. All right, so I'll also do another video of the things that have broken or things that haven't gone to plan with this car whilst traveling around Australia. So for now, we're just going to do a basic rundown of the vehicle, and then I'll do another video about things that are broken or things that I'll do differently. But anyway, let's get into this one and we'll have a look what we've got. All right, so we'll start with bar work, the exterior. We've got here a unique 4x4 bull bar. Now, I haven't seen too many of these actually on the road, so they are quite unique. But it's an Australian company, really good bull bar. And yeah, we've definitely seen a few cows and kangaroos and things like that out there, so definitely recommend getting a bull bar, a decent bull bar anyway. Also up here, we've also got a TJM winch. The 1200 pound winch in behind the number plate here, and we've had to use that a few times as well, so definitely recommend getting a winch if you're doing any four-wheel driving or off-roading sort of activities. Now also underneath, you'll notice we've got a bash plate down here. So this is a TJM bash plate, goes all the way under to cover engine and transmission. Definitely recommend one of these if you're going to be doing any sort of off-roading, including rocks, sticks, things like that, getting up underneath and getting into your transmission and engine. So definitely recommend getting bash plates of some sort. While we're up here, also mention the spotlights. These are just XTM spotlights, not the most expensive or the cheapest, but they're just a good quality spotlight. Once again, if you're doing any sort of nighttime driving, definitely recommend them, especially country roads, things like that, because you will find animals and that sort of stuff. So definitely recommend a good set of spotlights. The other thing we've got up here as well is our communication. So we've got a GME two-way in the car. It's the XRS 370 and it's been really quite good. Just a word of warning is that these things do bounce around a fair bit. So if you don't really need to be using them, just make sure you take them off, because they do a fair bit of damage bouncing around if you're doing a lot of corrugated roads and things like that. All right, for side steps, we've gone the extra heavy duty stock as a rock side steps. We didn't opt for any rock sliders or anything like that. We don't do extreme four-wheel driving, so we didn't really think it was necessary to get rock sliders. In saying that, these have copped a fair few hits in the time, a fair few scuff marks on them. I think a few of the brackets have broken off and things like that, but they're still there, they've still protected the sills, so not too worried about getting too extreme with this sort of stuff. All right, so we'll move around to the back of the car now, and we've got the rear bar on here. So this one's got the spare wheel carrier and also twin jerry can holder. It's a Outback accessories or an opposite lock rear bar. It's been on there for a fair while. Obviously it's seen a lot of hits as well, and the main reason why we got this is because of the long range fuel tank. So underneath we've actually got a long range fuel tank. It's a 260 litre combined fuel tank, and that's where the spare wheel would go. So they've had to put this on pretty much because we've lost the spare wheel. So the spare wheel's now on the back, and we've got the twin jerrys on here as well. We only fill these up with water because obviously we've got a massive fuel tank. There's no need to store extra fuel, but obviously you can put whatever you want on the back here. But yeah, this is really good. They just swing out of the way, and yeah, then you can access the boot. All right, while we're still on the outside of the vehicle, we've got a set of Rhino roof racks up here. Now these are the slimline base rack that goes up on the on the top, and then it's just got the normal, I think it's a full-size roof rack. This has a sunroof, so you can opt for the smaller roof rack, but this has just got the full size on it. And we've got a few accessories up here. We've just got our high lift jack and our shovel from the 70s, which still works, believe it or not, but it seems better days. But anyway, it's got us out of the poop a few times. If we go around the other side, we've got a fishing rod holder, just a poly pipe that you get from Bunnings, and our awning, just an XTM awning. Another thing we opted for was for a bit of protection for the off-roading tracks is bush wrap. So we've actually protected this with the bush wrap clear film. It's quite good protection and things like that. I've actually done a video of the install, and I'm going to do another video of what the results were after 18 months of using this car. But it's real good. It protects you from scratches and things like that. It's just a DIY kit. It doesn't do the handles, and a few other little panels, but for what it does, it's really good quality stuff. So yeah, definitely recommend a bit of bush wraps. But like I say, I'll do another video of pulling it off and seeing what the actual damage, if any, has done to the panels. Alright, so we go into the rear end of the vehicle, and we've pretty much just finished travelling. So we've still got stuff in here from our travels. We've got the kids' scooters, we've got helmets, I've got my fishing bucket in there that's got all my reels and things like that in there. Trusty old sunscreen lives here too. And we've got, just lots of little knick-knacks and things like that help you out while you're off travelling. We've got a 95 litre fridge in here, and it's quite big, quite sizable. I think it's probably the biggest you'll be able to fit into the back without going over the top. We've got 2 drawers with all our cooking and things like that, implements, tools. Now this drifter drawer set also comes with a table which is removable, which is really quite handy. We've got all of our electric display down here, so this tells us what the battery's doing. Also, we've got some switches for some lights and some charging points. And the most important thing that we put in was our coffee machine. Need to have a good coffee out on the road. So I've actually got the EnerDrive 2000 watt inverter in the car. It's got a remote switch on it, so we can start it here. We've got a power point here, and we've also got another 2 power points that are on the actual unit that we can get to from the side of the car. Now we've opted for a 150 amp hour lithium battery from Allspark, a company there in WA, do really good products with lithium. So that's a 150 amp, and that's run our inverter, our fridge, all that sort of stuff with no real dramas at all. So definitely recommend, if you're going to be living out of the vehicle, which we were for the first couple of months of our travel, we relied a lot on obviously our inverter for cooking and things like that. So definitely recommend getting a good quality lithium battery and a good quality inverter if you're going to use it. If it's just for little stuff, I wouldn't get too worried about spending big dollars on that sort of thing. But as I say, we lived out of our car for quite a while before we got our van. So that's why this is sort of set up for living out of and also exploring. So on top we've got a 200 watt solar panel, which is more than enough to power up our lithium battery. And we've got the option to have a blanket as well if we need. Alright, so wheels and tyres, we've got just the standard VX 200 series rims. They're just 18-inch rims, and we've just fitted them up with 33 by 12.5 by 18-inch Kenda Clever RT tyres. They're pretty aggressive for what they are. We've had a few little dramas with some sidewall damage, but nothing too major. But yeah, so there's no real modifications done to the wheel well to fit a 33-inch tyre. It is an Imperial 33-inch, so it's the actual size is 33-inch. So another modification we've done because we're towing is that I've put slotted rotors on the front and rear, just to add that bit of extra brake force and also like help with heat dissipation and things like that. So when towing, we've obviously got a lot of weight. If you're going down hills and things like that, you'll be using your brakes more, even though you don't want to. But yeah, we've just opted for the better rotors to help with braking. All right, so on the outside still, we've got TJM snorkel here. So this is the AirTech snorkel. This was on the vehicle when we got it, and we've had no real dramas with it. But obviously we have the snorkel on there to help with getting some nice clean air when we're driving through corrugations and things like that. We don't want that dust getting sucked in from underneath the bonnet here, underneath the guard here. So yeah, good little added extra, and also helps with river crossings, any water egress and things like that. Always good to have a snorkel. And the last thing on the outside we're going to look at is our mirrors. So we've got a set of clear view towing mirrors. These are just, we actually picked these up secondhand off Marketplace, so really good to scope those sorts of things. You'll find a lot of good deals and things like that. I'll do another video or review of this later on. We've had a few incidents with them. You can see we've got a bit of broken glass here. The other side we've smashed an indicator and things like that as well. Through no fault of the manufacturer, obviously we just go on some rough tracks. Alright, so now we're at the power plant, the big V8 diesel. Fair few mods that we've done to the engine and transmission in preparation for going on this big trip. So we've started off over here. We've got our aftermarket airbox. These engines were renowned for dusting, which means they suck dust in through the original factory airbox. So at the time this is the best option to do, so we've opted for a Fats built airbox. Real good quality, definitely recommend them. Also in here we've got our another second battery. We've actually got two auxiliary batteries. We've got one in here and our Red Arc DC-DC charger. Moving around to the passenger side, we've got our secondary fuel filter. Now I do recommend these purely because if you're going to be out bush or anywhere remote, you're guaranteed to get a bad batch of fuel. This will help eliminate all the water that can get in bad fuel. So yeah, definitely second fuel filter is a good option. And lastly, under bonnet we've got a catch can. This is a Provent brand catch can. We've had no dramas with it. We make sure we drain it out regularly when we do our servicing, and it's definitely taking that oil from the intake and stopping it going in there and getting all clogged up. So I do recommend a catch can. All right, last thing while we're on engine is a tune. So this has been tuned by Street Quick Performance in Perth. Done a really good job, and I do recommend getting a tune done if you're going to be towing, because you are pushing these vehicles to the limit of what the stock tune is, and they will definitely free up a lot of power, a lot of torque, and also make your engine run that little bit better, so you're not going to kill it whilst trying to tow big heavy loads. Just remember, if you are getting a tune, you need to match your exhaust accordingly. This one has a 4-inch into 3.5-inch exhaust from Manta, and a nice little note to it. Sounds a little bit throaty, but this still retains the DPF, so it isn't a full loud exhaust that you can hear a mile away. So yeah, definitely a nice exhaust system, and it matches with the tune perfectly. Another thing to do whilst on the tunes is a transmission tune. This has also got a transmission tune, which helps with the shift points, helps with torque converter lockup, and just tries to make sure that transmission is running as smooth as it possibly can. I've also added an external transmission cooler, which I've done a video on the install, so make sure to check that out if you want any more info on it. Definitely recommend one of those too, because your transmission will be working a fair bit once you're towing or if you're doing four-wheel driving. And another thing I would definitely recommend would be seat covers. So these are Sure Fit seat covers. They're the neoprene style ones, so like a wetsuit material. Now we've had these on for about 80,000 Ks, and they are really good, especially traveling with children. You'll have a fair bit of mess, sand, mud and food in the back of the car. So yeah, definitely recommend getting these to cover your original seats. All right, another good addition to the build is one of these emu wing style gull wings, which makes storage so much easier and access to things, especially with the drawers. So I've got a lot of stuff in here. I've got little bait boxes, I've got my air compressor, things like that, so I can just get stuff whenever I want. Close it up, good to go. All right, another important thing that we've done to this is a GVM upgrade. So we've gone for the 4-ton GVM upgrade just to help out with extra capacity in the car, especially when we were off-grid. We've got a fair bit of weight in there, so look into GVMs, especially if you're going to be towing or doing any extra loads. This is what we've got. Obviously with GVMs, GCMs, all that sort of stuff, it's different in each state, so make sure you just check your local guidelines before you commit to anything. And yeah, just do your research, because there's a lot of heated debate about GVMs and weights and things like that. Alright, so as you can see by the video, looking at what we've done, it's fairly entry level, it's fairly affordable and easily achievable for those that don't have big dollar bills to have cut down 200 series Dodge Ram, all the big sort of stuff. This is a pretty entry level sort of spec four drive considering it's a 200 series. But yeah, so it just shows you don't have to have all your money spent on the car to be able to go out and enjoy yourselves. Just get out there and enjoy the outdoors, enjoy four-wheel driving. Also, while I'm here, we've got some stubby coolers and some stickers for sale too, so if you're keen on them, just jump over onto our Instagram or Facebook page and send us a message and we can hook you out with some awesome merchandise. Now, as before I said, we'll do a few extra videos including some reviews on the bush wraps. We'll do a few other things as well. Things have gone wrong in this car on the trip. That's a good one to look out for, so we'll keep an eye out on that. And also just a big thank you to everyone who's been watching our show and commenting and talking to us in public. We meet a lot of people as well who've we've helped out, so big thanks to those guys. We really appreciate it. Appreciate all your support. And yeah, jump over and check out all our other episodes of our lap and travels, and make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, send us a comment, and yeah, just enjoy traveling out there, guys. Stay safe.